When I initially became aware of the ground, the shifting beneath me wasn't when the monthly customer, the name was absent.report. Not even at the time when I trained an executive assistant, started abruptly removing me from the calendar, invites. No, the actual moment came as a chilly smack. I entered the boardroom to have discovered him during the Monday briefing. The CEO's Adam, my kid, seated in my chair with his legs lying down and taking a photo with his phone at a high angle. Soon, it will be all mine. He smirked as he typed, pressing post before I even took a seat with my coffee. The room laughed uneasily, but nobody. The courage to correct him. The chair wasn't only armrests and leather. It symbolized 15 years of devotion, restless evenings during emergencies and transactions, brokered with the level of accuracy that only experience is rewarded. And here, he was, considering it as a prop for his followers on Instagram. I didn't recoil, not before him. Not in front of the board, rather I applied what I had discovered over years of weathering corporate turbulence. It grinned, a tiny inconspicuous smile that provided nothing out. Since if there is one, what you discover in this world is that rarely is the loudest individual in the room the one in charge. For background, I had developed my career at this company from the beginning. No golden parachutes, nepotism, just hours and grit that spilled over into the weekend. CEOs have come and gone. Combinations rise and fall. Additionally, I had been the calm anchor who maintained stability. I stayed out of politics. I didn't pursue the limelight. Maybe, I thought foolishly, that outcome would always surpass. However, I was learning outcomes, didn't trend on social media. Adam wasn't employed. He was put in place. New from some, he barely made it through an expensive MBA school through. Equipped with catchphrases he didn't comprehend and an excused last name each setback. He had visited the firm, less than half a year, and already struggling through the corridors as though crowned prince. And his father, the CEO, allowed it to cur. Kelly, I became a legacy. A courteous nod at conferences, a wave of the hand in the background. Similar to the whirring of a fax machine in the corner. Not damaged, but unimportant. I should have been angry. Perhaps I did in my heart, but something sharper was felt. Consciousness. Realizing that conceit never walks by itself. Carelessness is always dragged behind it. I also understood how to observe, how to listen, how to wait. Now, take a moment for a few moments, as this is where I'm frequently asked. Why didn't you, Kelly? You say something? Why did you not barge in and demand respect at the CEO's office? And the solution is straightforward. Due to, sometimes the sound of stillness is louder than yelling. Because as soon as you flail, they call you unstable, emotional, interchangeable. However, if you remain patient and stay motionless, you observe things that others overlook. And I did, observatums. Adam enjoyed showing off his power, didn't comprehend. He strode through the office making commitments he was unable to hold on. Inventions that were only ideas taken from staff decks are copied and pasted. He believed his clients would remain faithful, due to his last name. He always left a trail when he swaggered. Numerous errors, out-of-order emails, talks, and a lack of procedure recorded. By others who weren't as devoted to him as he believed. I gathered all in silence. Without malice, exactly. Due to the fact that after 15 years of you don't walk your life to something as soon as a pampered prince sits in your seat. You hold off until the cards are on the table. The chair wasn't the breaking point. The selfie wasn't even the tipping point. The caption was the culprit. Soon it will be all mine. He wasn't merely making fun of me. He was claiming that everything was at war. I had constructed and safeguarded everything. And the sad thing is that he was unaware of it. How risky for him that was. Look, this company was more than just a business. It was a stronghold of agreements, adherence, and federal documents that needed to be processed with surgical accuracy. You couldn't march confidently through a combination. You couldn't do it your way on Instagram, from a fiduciary obligation. However, Adam didn't be aware of that. His father, intoxicated with pride, disregarded it, as well as the other employees. They were too scared to mutter, "with the exception of me," because Adam believed that he didn't realize that Throne was waiting for him. Acknowledge that there was still a single piece of sealed and signed document that no one possessed, bothered to reverse. Additionally, one piece of paper indicated that he didn't inherit the throne. It was still belonged to me. Thus, when Adam reclined my chair with the message, "All mine soon," and the interns gave a tense laugh, I didn't quarrel. I didn't become angry. I didn't inform him that his brief appearance was going to be more expensive for him than he could imagine. I simply took a seat at the edge of the table, took my phone out, and sent one email onward. One that did not yell, accuse, or yell threaten. 4 lines, as silent as a murmur. After 10 minutes, the firm's attorney entered the boardroom with a pallid face as he was holding a trembling phone and paper. Haignored me. He didn't glance at a damn. He approached the CEO directly, leaned down, then moved the phone over the Polish table. As the CEO read, his jaw widened and locked. Then he yelled so loud that the glass shook, "Call now!" I remained motionless. I simply grinned into my coffee. Since this wasn't the start of my demise, theirs was just getting started. The end. That boardroom, the CEO's words reverberated. The lawyer slid the phone long after into his pocket. Give her a call right now. Nobody shifted. Not the partners, not the phony notes being taken by assistants on their iPads. Adam, who had unexpectedly smiling, ceased. The sole noise was the slight hum of the lights above and the sound of Adam's pen clicking. Click. It's like a nervous tell. Click. Click. I didn't move either. The problem with silence is that it frightens noise-loving folks. At last, Adam released the tension. It's okay, Dad. She is simply resentful. She's irrelevant. He laughed thinly, forced, as though he didn't think his own words. The CEO remained silent. He simply scowled at me before turning back to the attorney. The attorney leaned in, spoke softly into his ear, and his face lost its color. My cue was that. I grabbed my coffee and notebook, gave a courteous nod, and slipped away. I didn't have to listen to the shouting that would come next. I was not required to remain for the justifications, the explanations, or the rushing, as I was already aware of how it would be played in this game finish.